Hi everyone. One of the most important skills you will learn this year is how to effectively evaluate a web resource. That means that you will learn how to determine whether or not you can trust a source of information from the internet. This little movie is going to walk you through the basics, but before we focus on that skill, I want to make sure you remember how to create your own Edmodo account. Hi everyone. Today in class I introduced you to Edmodo.com, which we will be using quite a bit this year. I modeled how to create an account, but I wanted to make this screencast for you to use at home if you forgot anything from class. Feel free to pause this video if you need to slow down. The first thing you will need to do is open a web browser of your choice. I like Google Chrome, but feel free to use Safari or Internet Explorer. Type the web address www.edmodo.com and press enter. This should take you to the Edmodo page. Once there, press on Students and begin filling in your information. Please use your school Google account as your email address to make communicating as easy as possible. Pick a strong password that you can remember. If you forget your password, I can reset it for you as long as you are a member of one of my classes. The only piece you are missing is your group code, which you can find on my website. Open another tab in your browser and navigate to my teacher website from www.madisonpublicschools.org. Once there, click on the Edmodo tab along the left-hand side of my page and copy your period's group code. Next, paste that group code into the Edmodo page and press Sign Up for Free. Here. When you have successfully created an account, your page will look something like this. Notice that your classes are all considered groups. Along the left-hand side of your page, you will see any communication in the center of the page, like a Facebook wall. You will see tonight's homework assignment from me right here. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to email me or message me through Edmodo. Best of luck. Hi everyone. Today we are going to go over a very important skill for both historians and people in general. That is the skill of evaluating resources. If you aren't careful about the information you find all around you, especially on the internet, you could wind up looking awfully foolish trying to prove your point with information that is obviously incorrect. We want to help you avoid that embarrassment, but how? There are a number of things that you want to look for to determine if you should trust a web resource. The first is the author. Who is the author, and more importantly, what makes them an expert on this topic? You must find out what the author's educational background is in. For our standards, that author must have a master's or doctorate level degree in the topic you are researching. Just because they have a master's or doctorate does not make them an expert in everything. If you can't prove that the author is an expert on the topic you are researching, but the organization who sponsored the research is reputable, then you can still use them as a reputable source. What does it mean to be a reputable sponsor organization? It means that the company who paid for the research is internationally known as trustworthy. If that company allowed incorrect information to be published in their name, they would lose money and could go out of business. Some examples are names that you already probably know. The BBC, or British Broadcasting Company, National Geographic, the Smithsonian Institute, Time Magazine, NBC, ABC, PBS, and many others. If you cannot prove that the author is an expert on the topic you are researching, and you cannot find a reputable sponsoring organization, then you cannot use that source for your research projects. I hope this little podcast helped you to understand how to evaluate your resources a little bit better. Created using Powtoon. So what did we learn today? We learned to look for two main things to determine if a website should be trusted. The first is to find out who the author is and if he or she is an expert on the subject you are researching. The second is to determine if the company that published the research is a reputable sponsoring organization, like the BBC or the Smithsonian Institute. If one or both of those can be verified, then you can rest assured that the information on the page is reputable. If not, find a new source of info.